Okay, just now I have spoken about the sources of social policy, where I had discussed about fundamentalized directive principles as well as state, uh, fundamentalized directive principles of state policies and human rights. Now I will be taking up models and approaches to social policy, and in the first part I will discuss about the theoretical approaches, and then I'll talk about the models, or I could take the models of social policy and then I'll talk about the approaches of social policy. Now, practically, there are three important models of social policy: a residual welfare model, achievement performance model, and institutional redistributive model. Now, talking about the residual welfare model, in the residual welfare model, this model the residual concept of welfare sees state assistance as temporary or minimal, requiring evidence of need and availability only after all the avenues have of help have been exhausted. So it cites it uh, in the residual welfare model, residual sees state assistance as temporary, minimal, requiring evidence of need, and availability only after all other avenues of help have been exhausted. The cause of need can play a role in defining a person in need. The idea was that the social welfare organizations should play only a residual role in the to those of the private market and the family. That is, it has been considered that first of all, the individual has to make all the efforts based on his capacity and capability. It is the responsibility of the individual to first look into within his own environment, to utilize all his strength and energy, is all his means and resources to look after his own welfare. And in fact, because the individual is considered to be the most important unit and instrument of creating his own destiny or looking after his own welfare needs, so it is assumed that there are ample opportunities available to each individuals. Every individual is entitled to get hold of these opportunities to exercise his rights and freedom and liberty, which he can effectively use in achieving the best results. So based on his potential, based on his intellect, based on his ability, he can perform up to a certain limit. So first he has to, but then for that, before seeking any kind of assistance or any kind of support from outside sources, it is first the individual's responsibility to look after his own welfare needs. And when that has failed, when that channel has been exhausted, or the cause for any failure, therefore it would lies with the individual himself and not with the opportunity structure or the institution monitoring the social and economic processes in the society. So if he fails, so first of all, it is the individual's own shortcomings and it is own cause of failure, which is entirely lies on the individual and not on the opportunity structure of the institutions which are looking into the social aspect. In fact, the first of all, it is the individual's responsibility to look after his own welfare means and resources. Then he would look into the outside resources, that is the family, the friends, and if they are also not of any help, if the family and the friends and the neighborhood and the community fail to provide that kind of support system to the individual, and after that, when the individual also seeks certain opportunities in the market and the market forces also proves to be a failure in providing that necessary support and income or any kind of resources to the individual, then the state would intervene. So the residual welfare model particularly says that it is this welfare, it's a kind, as the name suggests, residue, that is the remaining part. If when all channels of resources, all channels of commitment, all channels of progress and growth have been exhausted, then the state would intervene. So this model is temporary in nature. It would help the distressed individual or a situation or an individual who is in dire need of any any assistance or any kind of insurance or social security, which would enable him to use the existing opportunities and to become self-reliant. So residual welfare model is practically based when all the means or all the channels of resources have been exhausted, whether it is the individual himself or whether it is the state or whether it is the family. Then the state would act as an intervention and would try to provide some kind of distressing individual or an individual who is in more need or in any dire consequences. Then secondly is the achievement performance model. This model holds that social needs should be met on the basis of merit. As the name suggests, achievement performance model, achievement as well as the performance. So this is based more on achieved status rather than any ascribed status, and it is primarily based on merit. Meritocracy is given weightage in this model. Achieved status, so it is practically based on merit, achieve status differentials, work performance, and productivity. So as long as the individuals are performing in giving, is giving his best performance and are productive, and there is a sense of meritocracy related to him, and he's achieved a particular status, then the individual would be consider would be a part of an important unit in the social system. Consequently, the community, with its larger financial and technical resources, should undertake the responsibility to develop and promote social and welfare services. However, the beneficiaries should pay for these services like any other services in the market. So since this model is talking about merit, and it is talking about productivity and performance and achieve status, so this model advocates that the beneficiaries should be in a certain position. They should be able to pay for the services like any other services if they want to avail the benefits. Thus the access to these services is dependent on one's ability to pay. So if a person is in a proper position, it is in a particular position enjoying a particular status, so he is able to pay for to get those, in order to avail those services which are there in the market. It is based on his ability, it is based on his potential, it is based on his achievements. So consequently, those who have resource, they can use these services to any limited. There are many mechanisms through which one's ability to pay are enhanced. The important one, as Titmus points out, are occupational and fiscal welfare schemes, which are available particularly to those who are favorably located in job structure and in respect to the ownership of other resources. So subsidization of housing, rent, provision of free or partly contributed health services, vacation office, car, company entertainment account are some of the services available by virtue of holding certain kinds of job in certain kind of companies. So it is a very told fact, even in government sectors, people enjoying government sector jobs or people who are covered under government programs, or they are government employees, they enjoy a lot of benefits and they are able to avail these benefits and services, especially the central government employees or the state government employees. If I look into the example, so they have achieved a particular status, they have come to a certain position where their achievement, their educational, their status have helped them to avail these benefits, to avail these services which are there for a certain section of the population. So achievement performance model is particularly based on individuals' productivity and efficiency and performance in the work structure or in the economic forum. So fiscal welfare schemes include tax exemptions or concession and deposit, housing loan, professional expenses, life insurance premium, separate tax exemption for husband and wife. Then the working women's, there is working women, there is another tax slab. So these are the major impact of these services, which to create and maintain a widening gap of inequalities in the distribution and command over resources in the population. The third is the institutional redistributive model. This model is based on the moral concept of social justice, which recognizes the right of individual to obtain the basic social welfare services irrespective of whether he is able to pay for them or not. So the institutional redistributive model rests on the government or the states. It makes the states obliged, or the state has a more proactive role in providing these welfare measures and welfare schemes to the people, to help them achieve those services, irrespective of the fact whether they are able to pay or not, or whether when all the channels of resources have been exhausted. So one of the important aspect of this model is that services under this are universally provided, irrespective of income, education, and caste status of recipients. The provision of these services, are also provided on a selective basis, particularly to the groups which need special care. So, under this institutional redistributive model, it also talks about redistribution of resources, that is, the redistribution of income, redistribution of wealth to the most marginalized and vulnerable population, where the state has a prior responsibility, an obligation. They are held accountable to provide these basic services or basic welfare measures to the most vulnerable marginalized section of the population. These services are provided without any social or economic criteria defining eligibility. So there aren't any specific specifications in terms of what would be the eligibility criteria, whether they have the means or not, whether they are able to pay or not, whether when they have exhausted or other channels of resources and support system. So it is just by virtue of being a citizen of a particular country and belonging to a particular country, the government has taken the responsibility, or the state takes the responsibility of providing welfare means. So they do not carry any stigma against the beneficiaries. So these services are also available to the weaker or disadvantaged sections of the populations. They tend to work as counter measures against the disruptive forces of change, and thus tend to contribute towards stability and equilibrium in the social system. The institutional concept of welfare sees social welfare programs as protecting individuals in society from social cost of operating an industrialized capital market, rather than letting those costs fall on those who experiences the risk of industrial society. So this model not only incorporates and embodies the effects of past and present change, but it envisages a variety of roles for social welfare to play as a positive and dynamic agent of change, to bring about a redistribution in command over resources through times. So this is the three important models, and these models had also been, they had kept coming during while I had been discussing about the principles and values of social policies, that the principles and values would also be different in terms of the models which the state has adopted, whether it is a residual welfare model, whether it is achievement performance model, or whether it is institution redistributive model. So thank you everyone. This is the end of my today's lecture. I have discussed the three models of social policy, and tomorrow I'll start with the approaches of social policy. Thank you everyone.